Okay, shall we start?
Sure.
Vandame Sayadaw, Vandame Bande, Vandame Sayade. Good morning or good evening, everyone, depending on where you are. Welcome to our 2023 Pāli Dhamma teaching series. We are very honored to have Venerable Paññādhikālaṅkāra to start a new series on the profound Pali Nikaya study and discussion on its daily applications. We're also very honored to have Religious Studies Department, University of the West, California, United States, and Pāli Sandarabhumi, Indonesia, to co-host the series. The teaching of this Nikaya study is scheduled for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, including Q&A. Today is part 1. Before teaching starts, here are a few housekeeping notes. We are using simultaneous interpretation Zoom functionality for today's teaching. First, let's go over the channel selection and take a minute to select your preferred channel. Please choose either English, Chinese, Indonesian, Vietnamese, according to your preference. If you want to listen to English, please select English channel, but do not stay at off or original sound channel, where you will not be able to hear English interpretation from Chinese, Indonesian, or Vietnamese. If you use a cell phone or mobile device, after you select the channel, please make sure to click Done to complete the selection. Please select your preferred interpretation language channel now. If you have any questions, please send it to the Zoom's chat room. Although this is a virtual Zoom session, please dress appropriately, sit upright, and pay full attention to show your respect to our teacher and the Dhamma. Also, please mute your mic to limit background noise. Thank you for your cooperation. Now, may we invite Sayadaw to lead us in taking 5 precepts. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Welcome to Sutta study class, and let's start our session taking precept.
So should I repeat after Sayadaw?
Okay. You can recite Bandi, etc. Okay, so please repeat after me. Aham Bandi.
Aham Bande.
Tisaranena saha.
Tisaranena saha.
Pancha silam.
Pancha silam.
Dhamayachami.
Dhamayachami.
Anugahagatwa.
Anugahagatwa.
Silandeta.
Silandeta.
Me bandi.
Me bande.
Tudiyambi.
Dudiyambi.
Aham bandi.
Aham bande.
Tisaranena saha.
Tisaranena saha.
Pancha silam.
Pancha silam.
Dhamayachami.
Dhamayachami.
Anugahagatwa.
Anugahagatwa.
Silandeta.
Silandeta.
Me bandi.
Me bande.
Tadiyambi.
Tadiyambi.
Aham bandi.
aham bante
Isaranena saha
tisaranena saha
Panja silam
pancha silam
Dhamaya jami
dhammaya chami
Anugahang katawa
anughang katwa
Ilan dita
silam data
Mi bandi
me bante
Yamahang wadami dangwadita
ama bante
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami.
Dham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami.
Tudiyambi buddham saranam gacchami, tudiyambi dhammam saranam gacchami, tudiyambi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tudiyambi buddham saranam gacchami, tudiyambi dhammam saranam gacchami, tudiyambi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tadiyambi buddham saranam gacchami, tadiyambi dhammam saranam gacchami, tadiyambi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tadiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, tadiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, tadiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Saranagamanam bribunam
Ma bante
panadipada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
panadipada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adena dana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adina dana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Suramereya majjapama dathana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Sura meraya majjapama dathana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Idame punyam
Idame punyam
asavakaya vaham hotu.
asawakaya vaha hotu.
Idame silam
Idame silam
Nibbanasa pacayo hodu.
Nibbanasa pacayo hodu.
Tisaranena saha panca silan dhammam sarugang katawa appamadina sambadita.
Ama bante.
Sadhu.
May we invite Sayadaw to start the teaching and invite interpreter Bande and interpreter Dhamma's friends to start the interpretation, please. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Welcome to Pali Nikaya study and Ondami Pandi, and have a good time everyone, and be happy in Sutta study. We are going to study the Buddha's teaching. So we will keep our respect to the Buddha And before we continue our teaching, I would like to introduce some words we are going to use in this class. And here we give the name the Nikaya, Pali Nikaya study. So we have to know one Nikaya. So Nikaya is a collection. So here, thank you, Pandi. You translated into Chinese as well, so that our participant can easily recognize the meaning. And so here, I have introduced in the in other video clip about the Nikaya. So basically, the idea for this class is to study the Pali text according to our own languages. For the Pali language, it's not easy to understand, and even though we spent several years to understand the Pali, and in traditional way of learning, it was not easy to be expert in Pali. That's why I thought that the teaching of the Buddha, although they are reserved in Pali language, it would be better if we study in our own languages. And maybe some difference when we make translation, but we can learn a lot through our translated books. So we discuss with the organizer and we arrange this class, and also not only understanding what the teachings express. After understanding the teaching, and we further need to discuss so that we can use this teaching in our daily life. And Buddhism is not only devotion, is different from the other religious texts. Not only we make devotion to the tradition and the cultural affairs. We have to practice. We have to follow the instruction. So in order to be able to follow the teaching, we have to understand what is the teaching. So the teaching also very important. So many of our Buddhist followers, they devote their time and effort in recitation of the Sutta. But if we closely read the Sutta, and the Sutta itself is the guidance to give the information how to follow. So how to follow means how to keep ourselves in proper way according to Buddha's instruction, and how to practice. So we need to read the Sutta. At least we can read, we can walk around the Sutta and we understand. And if we don't understand, we can discuss more and we can clarify. Then we can apply the teaching into our daily life. And we can keep ourselves living in the life according to Buddhist way of practice. So if we trying to start our learning through the text, we need to know what are the texts of the Buddhist teaching. And here I will focus on the Theravada traditional text. So according to Theravada tradition, the texts are divided into the two systems. They're divided into different collections. And there are two systems. The first system is Pitaka. We call the Pitaka and Tipitaka. So normally it is famous as a Pali Pitaka, or another collection, Pali Nikaya. But actually, these two systems of classification are referring to the same text. So, Pastor All here, I will just give the short introduction here, because we will continue to the past Sutta. And here the past collection is Pali Pitaka. Here Pitaka is basket, but actually it refers to the collection. So, collection of the teaching. So three parts: Vinaya Pitaka, and Suttanta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. So three Pitaka. And if we just divide it into Dhamma and Vinaya as at the end of the first Buddhist council, Venerable Ananda and the Venerables are concluded. They give the conclusion under the name of Dhamma and Vinaya. So Dhamma and Vinaya, if we use these two words together, it refers to all the Buddha's teaching. And if we divide it into, according to the Pali Pitaka classification, it becomes three. Then let's continue the second system. This relevance to our class. The name is Nikaya here. The five Nikaya texts. This also Nikaya also collection or making group. When here the Digha Nikaya, so we will start from the Digha Nikaya. And after that, we will continue as much as we can. The Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, and Khuddaka Nikaya. And these are five collections of the Buddha teaching. So in the Digha Nikaya, the long discourses, long suttas are collected in three books. Here, three books. So we will start from Digha Nikaya. And also, I would like to remind you about the way of this approach here. We are going to focus on the Sutta text itself mostly. And only when it is necessary, I will introduce a commentary explanation. Because if we extend with the commentary explanation and sub-commentary, then even one sutta will take many days, many classes. So it will be endless classes, so we cannot finish. So we will mainly focus on the sutta text itself. Then we will keep some information. Depends on your preference. You can keep information. And we will discuss how we can apply in our daily life. Okay, so let's see the word definition of the word. Here, Nikaya is collection, as I introduced the five collection, five Nikaya. Then the Sutta. So Sutta is translated as discourse, but the meaning of the Sutta, original meaning is threat. Threat. If we directly translate into English, it is threat. The idea is, the thread to make garlands. If we have flowers, in order to keep in the order these flowers, we use threads. In the same way, the Sutta keep the teaching in the order, in the proper order. So So that's why these teachings, the collection of teachings, are called the Sutta. Here, in the introduction of the Nikaya here is mentioned that the word Sutta is translated as discourse, but it is not satisfactory English translation. And temporary use, or because we don't have any other choice and we use discourse, but it cannot express the fully complete meaning of the Pali word Sutta. Anyhow, we understand, okay, Sutta, Sutta Pitaka, or the word Sutta, it will express the collection, the order of the teachings in this specific area. Okay, so we will study Buddha's teaching as expressed in the Sutta. Here, Nikaya consists of 3 books. The name Vaka comes. So Sila Khanda Vaka. So Vaka is translated as division. The first book is called Sila Khanda Vaka, and it is translated as the moralities. Because here Sila is moralities or moral precept, and Khanda is group. So the correlation of the teaching mostly relevant to the moral precept is called the Sila Khanda Vaka. It has 13 sutta. 13 sutta. We will start from number 1 sutta of Brahmajala Sutta. And the second division is called Mahavaka. So translated as the great division. So the word Maha is great or large or noble. So during the class, I will introduce the Pali word sometime like this, as I introduce the Sila is moralities or Maha is great like this. And in this way, you can pick up some Pali word in your own language, although I'm speaking English and I know the interpreter will explain you in your own language. And so you can pick up the Pali word and translate into your own language and keep it. Because later on, as the sutta is translated as discourse, but not satisfied. In the same way, sometimes when we cannot translate into our own language, we will keep that word in its original language of Pali. So we're better to understand some Pali word. And the last one, Patika Vaka. Here, the Patika Vaka, actually it should be Patika Vaka according to the Myanmar version, the Patika Vaka, we should add here, H. And so altogether, we will have the 34 sutta. So Sila Khanda Vaka consists of 13 sutta, and Mahavaka, second division, consists of 10 sutta. And Patika Vaka consists of 11 sutta altogether, 34 sutta. You may think this one, second one, we call great division, but only consists of 10, only 10 sutta. How it become great? And you may think, actually, in the sutta collection, when we see this one Mahavaka, in several cases you will see the Mahavaka, the great collection or the great division. It refers to mostly the variety of the sutta, so variety of the reference collector, and not like the Sila Khanda Vaka. Here, Sila Khanda Vaka emphasized on the sutta mostly relevance to the Sila morality. But in the Mahavaka, normally we see the different kinds of sutta collected. And also here, because it just consists of 10 sutta and it become one collection, it means the sutta are longer than the other sutta and other division. So less number mean the sutta is longer than before the others. Okay, so now you can keep the name of the sutta in your mind. The Sila Khanda Waka, Mahawaka, and Patika Waka we will study in their Tika Nikaya under the collection of the long discourse. So altogether, 34 sutta. Don't worry, you may think, okay, many sutta, how we can finish? And you don't need to worry. We will just walk through and then we will pick up and discuss. The more we learn about the teaching and the more we can apply in our life, and we will think this is how meaningful. We will understand. Okay, so the first collection, Sula Khanda Waka, the morality has 13 sutta, and I give the list of the sutta here, and we will start here from the beginning. Brahmajala Sutta. This is translated as the supreme net. Okay, here Brahma, you know, for Buddhist people, this and also even to the Hindu people, and this one is very familiar. A Brahma one. There's a supreme being, a kind of living beings in the higher realm of existence. Here, that's why the word Brahma refers to the meaning of supreme, and Jala. So Jala is net. So Brahma Jala, supreme net. We will know how is supreme net. And the second one is interesting. You know, I will not introduce every sutta, but I would like to introduce second sutta. Here, Samanya Phala Sutta, the fruits of the homeless life. This does not mean homeless life, and it does not mean in the homeless condition of some country. Actually, it refers to the samana. Samana is ascetics, translated as ascetics in English, and is left behind their home. It's not living anymore at home, and going somewhere to practice. That is called samana. Although this translation is given the homeless only. Actually, not just live in the home, need to devote in any kinds of practice. This is called samana. And the fruit of the samana, being samana, is called the Samanya Phala Sutta. So very interesting sutta. And we will read. Okay, then, and altogether 13 sutta are in Sila Khanda Waka. And second collection here have the 10 sutta, starting from the Mahabhadana Sutta. There, the great discourse on the lineage. So here, lineage referring to the previous Buddha. So we refer to the Sakyamuni Buddha is in the name, his personal name is Gautama Buddha. But before that Gautama Buddha, we have we counted the 7 Buddha and 28 Buddha like this. And also if we go back to the past, we cannot count the Buddha, number of the Buddha. So here, and the history of some Buddhas, the 7 Buddhas are introduced in this sutta. Okay, so the second sutta or this division is about the dependent origination, very popular one, which is called Paticca Samuppada in Pali. Okay, then we will continue about this, and the third division of Paticca Waka, also starting from the Paticca here, and the collection is given in this name because it is started by the Sutta, Paticca Sutta, so Paticca Waka. Okay, so let's continue to today's focus on Brahmajala Sutta, the supreme net. And in this slide, I give the short expression of the concise introduction of the Brahmajala Sutta. Here we will see the Nidana. So almost every sutta, it has the Nidana. It is introduction and the official documentation. Then I will explain more about this in there when we start in the Sutta text. After that, talk on the wanderers. So here, Paripājaka Katha. Paripājaka is a kind of homeless practice. Wanderers, it is translated as wanderer, and Paripājaka. Also, one kind of the samana. So they also live from home and devote themselves in the practice. And this is a kind of samana, so wanderers. And after that, we will learn about the short session on moralities, and middle session and last section. So we can understand in this sutta, Buddha will explain the moral precept, moral practice in different sessions. And we will not discuss all detail. So I suggested to read advance the sutta in your own language. If you didn't read, and it doesn't matter, or you can follow this teaching today, and you can read according to the online. After that, Buddha will explain the 62 kinds of round view. Okay, here, this is the main focus of this sutta, and 62 kinds of round view. And here we will say round view. Why we say round or right or wrong in this case? So in this case, the Buddhist principle is very important. You know, you have to understand the basics important teaching. The teaching is all conditioned things are impermanent. You know, impermanent, the word anicca. A Buddhist teaching, anicca, or impermanent nature. It includes the all conditioned things. In Pali, it is called sabbe sankhara anicca. If you don't understand Pali, no problem. And all conditioned things are impermanent. This is the basics principle of the principal teaching of the Buddha. Without accepting this, or we are not accepting the teaching. Otherwise, without keeping this kind of principal teaching, sometimes we cannot understand. So just keep in mind, according to Buddhist teaching, all conditional things are impermanent. And also all things, including the conditional or unconditional, are non-self, anatta. So there's no everlasting soul or any everlasting entities in Buddhism, according to Buddhist teaching. And that's why if we talk about any view, if we establish any kinds of view or any kinds of theory, here use the theory or speculated theory, based upon the everlasting soul, everlasting substance, anything, this become wrong. Because there's even from the beginning, there's no everlasting soul. According to Buddhism, I'm not arguing with the other religion. I'm just trying to explain the principle of the Buddhist teaching. Okay, so according to Buddhism, there's no soul, no everlasting entirety. That is why if we establish any kinds of theory or any kinds of view based upon that everlasting something, self or any substance, that view or that theory go wrong way. And all 62 views based upon this idea. That's why it's named them, included under the name of wrong view. Okay, so we can divide it, 62 view into two groups. The first group, 18 wrong view related to the past, past. which is called the Pupanda nudity. So Pupa is previous, Anta is extreme. So connected to the previous extreme, it means the past. So if we consider when our life starts, that will be very confusing. So we cannot discuss about that. But I just want to introduce how this will come. Pupanda means the previous extreme or the former age. So if we consider when our life started and then we go back, so we have how many past life and going back, then and related to that kinds of consideration is called the Pupanda. And here Ditti, the following to the kind of concern and taking round view, that is called the Pupanda nudity. So the speculative theory or speculative views about the past, altogether 18. And another group, Aparanta nudity. Aparanta, Anta is extreme, and then Apara is the other. So the others from the past referring to future. So 44 views thinking about the future. So they are called the Aparanta nudity. So 44 different way of speculative theory about the future. So in this way, we get the 62 round view explained in the Brahmajala Sutta. After that, the other three sessions, the Buddha will make a conclusion. All these 62 round view cause for the agitation and vacillation. Then these 62 round view come from the context in this way, and Pasapachaya Vara. After that, the sessions or the statement of that is impossible. That is impossible. In that session, the Buddha will say, all 62 round view cannot come to A6 without contact and feeling like this. So it is said that it is impossible in this way. So the main focus is 62 round view, and we have to learn what are the round view, and we have to keep ourselves not to fall into any of these round view and keep in the right view so that we can reach to our destination of Nibbana. So if someone wish to keep oneself in the middle way, he should not fall into any kinds of 62 round view. After that, in the conclusion, so in the conclusion, Buddha mentioned the Yaditti Katika. So it will be very difficult to pronounce for yourself, it doesn't matter. So Ditti Katika, Dittana Otakata. Actually here, in this part, you just keep in Otakata. So talking about the round of rebirth. Round of rebirth is Vata. And so Buddha mentioned related to the 62 round view, that the person will be reborn in any realm or existence running around the samsara like this. And the Vivadagata is ending in the round. So the end of the round of rebirth is the liberation. Okay, so let's continue. The Sutta text. Okay, sorry. Sutta text. Here the text translation come from the "Thus have I heart." This will be seen in different sutta, in many sutta. Most of the sutta starting with the "Thus have I heart" in translation, but in Pali it is Evam Me Sutta. So this is the report of the Venerable Ananda. So to make sure he has heart this sutta, and he claimed to the Sangha community at the past Buddhist Council. So he reported by this way. Thus have I heard. Have I heard from whom? So he refers to the Buddha. I have heard this sutta from the Buddha. It means, according to Theravada tradition, this sutta is preached by the Buddha. So if we keep this text as our reliable text, and we will keep the sutta preached by the Buddha. Okay, it doesn't matter. Later on, you can approach a critical way. But here we will follow the Pali Nikaya tradition. So this one, whenever we see A1 Me Sutta, it means they are report by the Venerable Ananda and referring to the meaning he himself listened from the Buddha, the Sutta. Okay, so he report about the story before all the events before the Buddha preached this Brahmajala Sutta. What happened? So let's read the story here. So one occasion, the Buddha, here Lord refers to the Buddha. The Buddha was traveling between the city Rajagaha and Nalanda. So the distance is 1 yojana in distance. Here 1 yojana. So we can easily understand 1 yojana is for 1 day trip. Now, if you travel on foot and walking, 1 day walking refers to 1 yojana. So in today's measurement, it comes in different measurements. Some scholars say 8 miles is equal to 1 yojana. Or some say more than that, 10 or 12, or some say less than that, 6 miles. So you can keep in mind that 1 day trip, 1 day walking is 1 yojana. So Rajagaha and Nalanda, how far? And you can walk from the morning and then you can reach there before sunset. And this is, I don't know the nowadays how far. And here, according to Pali text expression, is 1 yojana. So Rajagaha to Nalanda, the Buddhas were traveling after Pindapata, so after lunchtime finished. And the Buddha started his trip with the 500 bhikkhu. Because the trip started after lunch, he cannot reach to the Nalanda. Then also the wanderer Suppiya, he also traveling. So not directly following, he also making trip to the Nalanda from Rajagaha with his pupil. Here the text, it says his pupil, his attendants called the Brahmadatta, the young man Brahmadatta. But actually, in the commentary explanation, he also come with his some disciple. So with audience, he come. Then what he did along the trip is finding fault. So traveling together in 2 groups, and he was finding the fault of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. It means he trying to criticize in many cases, pointing out this and that, and the Buddha is in this way, but he is not really Buddha or something like this. And Dhamma, or he taught Dhamma, but it's not true and not beneficial, not meaningful like this. And also Sangha, he criticized. So the Buddha's disciples are not practicing well, actually, like this. In this way, the wanderer Suppiya criticizing toward the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. But his pupil, his disciple, Brahmadatta, he was praising. Although the master and disciple, they don't have the same view, and different attitude toward the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. It means toward the Buddhism. So the teacher, the wanderer Suppiya, have negative view, but the disciple Brahmadatta have the positive view, and so they are talking according to their attitude. That is why, and they are expressing direct opposing arguments. So Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi translate that they are keeping the different views of making assertion in direct contradiction to each other. So the teacher is finding fault and the disciple is praising. So they keep their claim contradiction to each other. So in the commentary, it is mentioned that this is very remarkable. According to his own understanding of the disciple Brahmadatta, the young man, in his knowledge, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, they are doing well, but his teacher is present many faults, many the mistake or criticism. In this case, he need to make a choice. Should I follow to my teacher, or should I stand on my own attitude? Then he decided to keep his attitude and express praise toward the Buddhism. And in this case, in many cases, mostly in religious practice, we just trying to follow to the teacher. If our teacher said this, and we follow to that. Although we have doubt and we have another way of understanding, we're trying to apply and follow into the teacher. This is normally happen in the religious practice. But here, they also practicing in their own religion, their own practice. But the Brahmadatta, the young man, he expressed his own view. Although his view is opposite to his own teacher, but he keep continuing talking this. And so in this way, they come to the place to take a rest, to take a rest, but still continuing the same action. The teacher is abusing and the disciple is praising. So in this way, in the resting place, which is called the Ambalatika Raya Park, also they are continuing. So by seeing these two different action of the different world of the teacher and disciple, and the bhikkhu start their conversation in early morning. So early morning, they wake up and they gather in the round pavilion. Then they start talking about this. So their expression is how wonderful, that it is wonderful and marvelous, the Buddha's knowledge. Actually, if you read this, and you can understand their appreciation go to the Buddha's knowledge. Why? Because they refer Buddha in other occasions. Buddha talk about the different people have the different preference. And people are gathered according to their way of attitude, their way of practice, and their preference. And Buddha preached that discourses before. Then referring to that teaching, they appreciate Buddha's knowledge because they see, the teacher is in this kind, and then the disciple Brahmadatta is in this kind, and they are gathering, and they are, gathering in the same practice, but they have different view. It means, although we see in the same group, we cannot say exactly they are in the same side like this. So then they express their the teacher and disciples as action. So the Sophia is finding fault, and the Brahmadatta is praising, giving the defense against his teacher, his own teacher. And this is the conversation happened in the round pavilion in early morning among the monks. Then, at the moment, the Buddha also hear this kind of event we will see when we study, when we read the Sutta. We will see several events about this. And the monks are gathering and talking about something. At that moment, the Buddha listen, and in the right time, the Buddha come. And the Buddha come here to the round pavilion where the bhikkhu are gathering and making conversation. Then as soon as the Buddha come, and all bhikkhu keep quiet. Nobody continue their talking, and all keep silence with the respect to the Buddha. Then the Buddha start his question. So what was the subject of your conversation just now before I came here? Then because I came here and this conversation was interrupted, so you all stopped. What was about that? What is the subject you were talking about? Then this is regularly happening in many cases. Once the Buddha come and they keep quiet, and Buddha also asking them, then give the discourse or relevance to their conversation. Okay, so in this case, when they report to the Buddha, or we are talking about their different personality and different preference, and referring to the teacher and disciples' attitude toward the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. In this case, the Buddha give the teaching, instruction, give the advice to disciple. So very remarkable, very important one. Here, you should not be angry or resentful or upset when someone dispraises of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Someone criticize to the Buddhism or your own religion, whatever you are doing. And you should not be angry. You should not be angry. This usually happens if someone criticizes to our own religion. So easily get angry. At least we don't like. Okay. Then if someone praise our religion, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or something we are doing, we are practicing, if someone praise, and normally we pleased and happy and elated, but Buddha's suggestion, Buddha's advice is not to be so, not to be doing so, and we should not be so pleased and happy or enlightened in this way. When we hear someone is giving their praise to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or on the other hand, we can say our own religion. So we should keep ourselves not to get angry or not to be so pleased. And here then the Buddha give the reasoning. So why we should not get angry? We should not get angry, and we should not be so delightful. And the reason is the Buddha gave this: if you were to be angry or displeased, so when you hear dispraisement, that will be your hindrance. So hindrance, the hindrance means if something make you not to let go, not letting you to be successful. That is called hindrance. So in religious practice, you are trying to develop your practice. But if you get angry, that anger and this displeasing feeling will be hindrance that will block your practice. Now, how it happened, if here referring to me, referring to the Buddha himself. So if others dispraise or criticize to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and so as a being disciple or practitioner of the Dhamma and the member of Sangha or the follower of Buddhism, if we get angry or displeased, so we cannot recognize. So the Buddha asks, so can you recognize whether what they say is right or not? It means right or wrong. So the bhikkhus, the monks, they reply, no, Lord, it is impossible to recognize whether it is right or wrong because anger overwhelms our mind. And this is the answer of the monks. So they say, no, Lord, it is impossible to understand right or wrong, meaningful or not meaningful, beneficial or not beneficial. Under the influence of anger, with the angry mind, we cannot understand, we cannot identify correctly. So on account of praising also the same. If we are so pleased by others praising to our own religion, we cannot make the proper decision about the right or wrong. So by giving this kind of reasoning, the Buddha continue his teaching, giving proper way of reaction toward some person criticizing or some person praising. Whatever they are doing towards our own religion, our own view, so we should keep proper way of reaction toward them. Here, if someone trying to dispraise to our own religion, so Buddha give instruction, you must explain, you must explain if they criticize by their false information, giving false information, and you have to make them correct, explaining this. Oh, this is incorrect. What you are talking is not really true. We have to explain, and it is not correct. Then we have to explain and we have to give the correct information. It is not found among us, not really happening to us. That's why, and I claim this is not correct. Then if it is correct, we have to admit actually, yeah. Then if others praise or appreciate or praise Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha with the proper way of expression, with the true information, and we have to admit, so we should not keep silent all the time. And we can say, oh, the Buddha is this kind of Buddha, and so the Buddha, for example, if they say the Buddha understands Four Noble Truths and he taught to his disciple like this, well, we have to admit, well, this is correct. Our teacher Buddha already found the way to understand Four Noble Truths and something like this, and then we have to give the confirmation, that this is correct. Because of this, we can say this is correct like this. So this is attitude and reaction. This is very important. So if we claim ourselves as a Buddhist follower, and we should know how to keep our proper attitude when we encounter someone dispraising or the dispraising or praising appreciation toward our own religion, and make sure that you should not be angry, and also you should not be so happy on that. Then later on, Buddha continue his teaching. So if someone, if someone trying to praise the Buddha himself, if he pick up the subject of the moral precept, oh, I will praise the Buddha by moral precept, indicating his word practice in moral precept. The Buddha say, this is just for elementary and inferior matter. Is someone trying to praise Buddha, indicating his moral precept. Then he will explain what are the advanced or the superior methods to praise the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha like this later on. So then Buddha continue his explanation about the 62 round view. Okay, so I will give short outline here. And here let's see the Bhuvanda nudity following to the past extreme, the 18 round view, the different way of speculative theory. And we will count here the Sasattavada, Eternalist, etc. And you can review this outline and you can read the Sutta. And in this lesson, I'm just trying to introduce the outline of the Sutta so that it will be helpful as a guidance when you read again the Sutta. Okay, so 18 round view related to the past. The Eternalists are 4 round view related to their they proclaiming the eternity of the self and war. So some people thinking about self is existing all the time, or the war is existing all the time, and they keep their view based on this understanding. As I mentioned, that even the self itself is not really existing according to Buddhist teaching. That's why, and because of that, he is holding self like this. So, and also the war as an entity, then he is holding round view. There are 4 round view, and you will see in the Sutta. And then continue the second collection of the 4 round view is partly eternalist and partly non-eternalist. So in this case, some are existing all the time, so eternalist, and some are not existing, some are changing like this. So you will see in further classification. And also here, the second one also based upon the self and war, like this. Then Antananta Vada, here, finite and infinite. So self is finite or self is infinite in this way. They hold the view. Then in this way, they fell into round view. Then Amaravicipavada, this one, a doctrine of endless equivocation. Equivocation, here you should see the regards, like the kind of fish, this one, kind of fish, very difficult to catch up. In the same way, that person is trying to avoid it. So catch from the others and also catch from the wrong expression, and he trying to avoid is giving any specific statement, and also the whole the round view like this. Then Aditya Samupannavada. This is the translation is just originationist. Sometimes not easy to understand what it means. So here in this 2 round view, the person is thinking that everything come to exist, come to appear without any specific reason or cause like this. So in this way, we have the 18 round view. After that, the other 44 round view related to the future extreme. So here, Sannyivada, Sanyi refers to the perception or the consciousness leaded by the perception. So the doctrine related to the consciousness, so the translation will be a little bit complicated because the terms are not easy to understand. So if I have to introduce this is after that, this kind of 16 round view related to the view, after death moment, the life will continue, considering of the perception. So after this life, after that moment, the being will continue, and there will be perception in that beings. The 16 round view related to index based upon this kind of principle. Then Asanyiwara 8 round view. So rejecting after this life, the life will continue, but no perception, no more perception like this. And Niwasanyi, Nasanyi, so it's clear that neither perception nor non-perception, or neither consciousness or not consciousness, but still they are thinking that the life will continue as the everlasting substance of the life. Then annihilation, this is different. Opposite to the former round view. The former round view are related to the everlasting substance continuing after this life. Also, something will continue. But in this seven round view, so he proclaimed annihilation or non-existence of being. It means that moment is the last moment of our living being. After that moment of this life, no more living. There will be no next life, and also nothing is continuing after that moment. There are 7 views related to that principle. And the other 5 views, it claims the Nibbana. So Nibbana, not only Buddhism, the other religion also talking about Nibbana is as sometimes the final destination, but their expression of Nibbana, the definition of Nibbana is different from what we do. So they proclaim Nibbana here. No, Nibbana, you cannot practice to continuous practice. You don't need to practice continuously to attain Nibbana. You can find here in this life, here and now, like this, referring to the existing being in this life, or going to the Deva realms or Brahma realms like this. They were explained according to their understanding. So in this way, we can learn 44 kinds of round view related to the future extreme. Okay, so this is what the Buddha explained in the Brahmajala Sutta. So I think we can finish the Brahmajala Sutta in 2 classes. Next class week, I hope we can finish, and so that we can continue. Then we will learn in which sutta what is emphasized. So in this sutta, we can understand, although the Buddha gave some instruction and also how to react, and the mainly focus on the 62 round view. But wherever the Buddha explained the teaching, and we need to pay attention, what is the Buddha instruction, and what kind of practice and what kind of understanding should be according to Buddhism. So picking up the sutta according to the text itself, we understand this teaching comes from the Buddha himself. So if we believe on this text and we follow, this is Buddha's instruction, and we will follow and we will practice, we will apply this teaching into our life, so that we can say, I am a Buddhist, be a Buddhist. And as I mentioned, that Buddhism, not only devotion, not only bound down to the Buddha statue, you need to practice, you need to follow. So if we follow the Buddha's instruction, and if we try to practice according to Buddha's instruction, we can say, I'm a Buddhist follower, the follower of the Buddha. If we are not practicing or not following Buddha's instruction, although we claim ourselves as a Buddhist, it's not that meaningful as far as I understand. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention, and let's continue our discussion or if you have any comment or any question, and you are welcome to discuss here.
Thank you, Sayadaw, very much for your teaching today. So we still have 20 minutes left. Sayadaw already gave permission to start our Q&A session. Please submit your question to the Zoom's Q&A. And if you ask questions, please only have questions relevant to today's topic. If you write down your questions, please write it down as clear and as concise as possible. We will respond to all questions within the available time. Any questions that we don't have time to answer, they will be answered in the next session. And all Indonesian and Vietnamese questions will be answered in the next Nikaya study sessions due to technical difficulties or limitations.
礼敬尊者，请问何者或何地才具备举办短期出家活动？感恩尊者的解答与翻译。
Short term. Yes, Monday, I can hear. Oh, okay. So this depends on where you are, right? So normally in Myanmar, we have many short-term ordination during the New Year. Is coming soon in April usually. But I don't know where you are.
We don't see the next question yet.
I hear you, yes.
I think this question will be answered in the next.
Okay, Mr. Kat. Yes, please. Yeah, I think, Bandit Amatasi and Mr. Kadis too cannot each other, right? They cannot hear each other. They are expressing their question at the same time. Okay. So please, Mr. Kadis first, please. Yes. Actually, okay, in this session, I was trying to discuss, this is not answering totally giving the precise answer actually, right? So I was trying to discuss to make meaningful. If I cannot make meaningful, and you can correct. Also, another thing, in this case, using music for meditation, it will be different tradition. Normally in our Theravada tradition, we are not using music for meditation. So if it is used in other tradition, we should not say it is wrong or right or like this, because they like to do and they are thinking this is beneficial and they are doing that. So regarding that, even the word meditation is very complicated. So not all kinds of meditation method are not applicable to the Buddhist meditation. Even the Buddhist meditations it's keeping in different tradition will have the different way of practice, different way of based upon the different concept. That's why in this case, I'm just trying to say in Theravada tradition, we are not using music as a tool of meditation. Yeah, thank you. And please, Pandita Madhasan, please.
And the next question, Vandame Sayadaw, where can we find recordings and any WhatsApp app group to join? I'm presume this is related to our teaching or related to Buddhism.
Oh, yeah, it's better to answer by the organizer.
Yeah, I think for the video recording, we have a live stream on the YouTube channel. And for the WhatsApp group, I believe Indonesia have a WhatsApp group. And for the Paul, Georgia, we have a website. I just posted in the chat.
Okay.
The next question, Padame Sayadaw, Buddha taught we should tell others where their views are, whether their views are wrong or correct. What about keep silent due to lack of knowledge? Is it allowed?
Yes, is it allowed? But in this case, the Buddha just suggests and give the instruction how to react, just the suggestion, to keep ourselves in the wise response, with the wise response toward the other's action. And we should try to follow the Buddha's instruction in this sutta. And if we don't know really, what is really mean they are talking about, and better to keep silence, otherwise we can misinterpret ourselves and we can misdefine the other's expression. Also here, we should tell others views are wrong or correct. It means, in this sutta, Buddha suggested that if someone come and talk about our religion and we should respond, it does not mean to point out others wrong or others view right or wrong. But for the Buddhist teaching, the 62 are wrong view we recognize according to this sutta. But it's not our responsibility to talk about the other's view, which one is right or wrong, because they like and they do. Only when we have the proper conversation about the view and we can explain our view is this and your view is this is the different, and how we can explain what is the point of our view, our practice. And I think, in my opinion, and given something's opinion is right or wrong, it's not our work. And sometimes it's very dangerous. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
The next question, Vandame Sayadaw, where can I get books of Shumagala Vilasini English version? I have looking at PTS, but cannot find it.
Yeah, still I need to search off, and yeah, please give your question and then your context information, and if I can find it, I can share with you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your Dhamma lecture, Bande. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Do you know where do we get more information on today's teachings, and if the slides are available?
Yes, our organizer arranged to share the class material, and also they will share the teaching, the recording in the respective languages, and they will upload, and you can keep contact with the website and also this group. Yeah, thank you.
Dear Ashipaya, I'm not quite clear about the sentences about the ear wigglers and the chance originationists. in the slides of 18 different ways. Please kindly explain.
Okay, yeah. In this case, yeah, you don't need to worry if you don't understand them. And I suggest you just go and read in your own language. You know, if you are English speaker and you can read the English translation. And if you are a Pali speaker, and here action prayer is referring to the Pali usage. That's why if you can read the Burmese, and you can read the Burmese translation books there, and there it will go. Is Amarawiki Bawara, and it will explain how it's become. And this is just the name, you know. By the name, we cannot explain or to cover all the meaning. Then the other chest origination is also that is referring to the Aditya Samupanawara like this. So you can read according to your own language in the translation book. After that, in the following lesson, I will explain and to going reading through and what is me and what are they, and I will introduce them. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Pandami Sayadaw, I'm attending from Myanmar. May I know the best website or link to learn this sutta?
So I have taught in Myanmar language this sutta, and we are almost finished the Nikaya or the Nikaya 34 sutta. So you can contact to our organizer, and then you can get some links to follow this lecture. And for the original text, we can find the Kabai library, and we can have all the books relevant to this class and also the extra books. Thank you.
Vandermin Sayadaw,能否请尊者介绍一下整个课程的大纲、讲授内容、持续时间？萨杜。
Okay. So yeah, this course, yes, for the aim of this course is, you know, to give the understanding about the text mentioned in the Pali Nikaya itself. So this course will be ongoing process. You know, we will continue as much as we can, and because if we study Sutta from the Digha Nikaya, so today we could not finish one Sutta, even one Sutta, because this is the long collection. Then we will continue. I think this Brahmajala Sutta will take the 2 or 3 lessons. Then we will continue another Sutta. In this way, we will finish. And in this class, I have introduced the Sutta in Digha Nikaya. So we will continue. These are the course of the content of the course. Then if we can finish and still want to continue, and we will continue to Majjhima Nikaya in this way. That's why we will continue as fast as we can. Actually, as fast as we can, we read. So this class designed the reading and discussion actually. So sometimes the technical terms and the expression need the specific explanation for the principal knowledge. And that's why I'm trying to explain fast, then we come to discussion. Then if the readers can read advanced, and we can go faster, and we will finish much the sutta, during the class. So I intend to continue up to several months. So I don't know when we didn't make any end date for this course. Okay, so you can join.
Sukihantu Bande, Why does view about the finite or infinite of the world related to right or wrong view? Are both finite world and infinite world view wrong?
Right. Yes. Good question. Yeah. Finite or infinite. If we say this had end or this had this does not have end, it endless or whatever we think it is wrong. It means because that measurement is based upon the self. If self or atta or atma, something like this, everlasting entirety does not exist in reality. If we are talking about this had end or this does not have end, and it's all around because the original base is not really existing. That's why both are wrong, and also each one of them also wrong like this.
礼敬尊者，尊者，我是一个在家人，平时要面对繁重的工作，同时回到家中还要履行父亲、丈夫的职责，在每日的生活、工作想保持正念，守护好自己的戒，但是感觉心力很弱，很难保持正念，这种挫败感让我很苦恼，请尊者指导开示如何在工作和生活上提升正念，提升心力，守护好自己的戒。
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brandy, and thank you. So here in this case, everyone have that kind of difficulties because everyone, trying to survive in our way of living and have to do our respective responsibilities. Then also mind itself is not easy to control and easy to train. That's why we should consider this is not only me. Different people have different kinds of difficulties. Then we don't need to be so stressful about that. And we try our best and we promote. And also I want to suggest, if you know more about the teaching, how to live, how to calm down, and you can keep yourself in proper way. And so this class also intended for this case. The people will learn more about the Buddha teaching and they will live how to calm down, how to keep the knowledge related to a proper comprehensive way of thinking. Then, okay, so for your question, if I have to direct to your question, that there are 4 qualities, that will be helpful. And also we will study some sutta, specific sutta here. They will explain you how to live, how to be mindful. But for sure, I want to talk to that. And the first one is the quality of desire. Chanda is called chanda. And you should develop your desire to live in the mindful way of living and with the clear comprehension. Make determination every day. Trying to make determination every day. In the morning, I will keep myself in the mindful and comprehension today more and more. And this is called chanda. And also another quality is viriya. So making effort. We should try to make effort for that case. If you really wish to be that kind of person, nobody can help you actually. You have to develop yourself. So chanda, desire, and viriya, effort, and chitta training. You incline your mind toward that kinds of situation. Imagine I'm really mindful and clear comprehensive person and calm down. And imagining that kinds of living, and your mind inclined to that. And this also will be helpful for you. And wisdom. So just now you asked how to live in this way. In the same way, you need to search more information how to live, how to calm down, like this. So these 4 qualities will help you to be in that kinds of living. So first of all, you just calm down yourself, and then you try to learn and improve yourself to be more powerful mindfulness and clear comprehension. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I just wanted to remind us that our time is up for this class. We still have 2 more questions to go. The last question will be answered in our announcements. So we just have 1 more question. Can we still answer this question, Sayadaw?
Yeah. Yes.
礼敬尊者，请问本经中中文译名是佛说梵网62件经吗？能有相应的译文版本推荐吗？
I think Bandi, you will be a better person to recommend for that, please. Can you hear me, Bandi? Yes.
I think
Anyone can comment for that, because I'm far from the version. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Bandi.
Thank you, everybody. This is the end of our class today. If there are more questions, they will be answered in the next Nikaya study session. May Sayadaw lead us in making aspiration and sharing merits, please. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, let's make aspiration and share our merit to all beings. Please repeat after me. Imina punya kamena mami bala samagamo sadang samagamo hodu yawa nibbana patiya idame punyam asawakya vahang hodu idame punyam nibbana sabajayo hodu mama punya bhagam sabba satanam bhajemi isabe me samam punya bhagam labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you again, Sayadaw, for your teaching. Please feel free to leave Zoom at your convenience. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
We have a few announcements to make. First, there was a question about this, and there is homework assignment. So we have homework assignment, and please complete it before the next Nikaya study session in 2 weeks. So we do have 2 weeks for you to complete it. In each session, Sayadaw will explain the outline of each sutta one by one. So please read the translated first sutta of Digha Nikaya in your preferred language before the next session. And here on the screen, we have a Google Drive link to Pali, English, Chinese, Indonesian, and Vietnamese version of the first sutta of Nikaya. We're also going to post this link in the Zoom chat room. You can copy it down now. If you do not have the chance to copy it, please reach out to us for this link. You can also, if you have any questions at all regarding the homework or the class or anything else, you can also email to us to americadhammasociety@gmail.com. And next week, at the same time of today, Sayadaw Yukamara Bimamsa will teach part 21 of the Buddha's last days. And also at the same time, in 2 weeks, we have Sayadaw Paññādhikālaṅkāra teaching Nikaya study part 2, continuing from today. Please remember, we have YouTube channels, so check out our YouTube channels and please follow us on Facebook as well. This way we can stay connected. You will know our newest posting, our activities, and so forth. Our sincere thanks to our co-host, Religious Studies Department of University of the West, California, United States, and PAUG Sandorabumi, Indonesia. Thank you, everyone, for your time and participation. Till we meet again, may all be well, healthy, and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.